Hello and welcome to Esther's Gardening Adventures. I'm Esther, and this winter I am experimenting with growing plants indoors, specifically vegetables and herbs. So let me start off by showing you what I've already started and what I'm about to get going. And this is the beginning of it, and I'll be tracking throughout the winter in my other videos on how it progresses. Also stick around because at the end of this video, we're going to go to the community garden plot where I have my one bed for my winter growing outdoors. I went out there right before we were going to have a freeze in the 20s at night and put some frost cloth over it so I can give you an idea of what it looked like. So first off is this Arrow Garden. I got the Arrow Garden through the Buy Nothing group I'm a part of. The Arrow Garden basically has water on the inside where the roots go down in, and it comes with like a fertilizer, a plant food thing that I'm probably going to get my own of as well. And when you buy an Arrow Garden, it comes with all kinds of other stuff, but I got it for free, so it only came with a few of the sort of holders and sponges for it. But I did buy online a packet of sort of more labels, more of the cover domes. Where's the bag of sponges? More sponges. So that I can do this a lot. But I'm using my own seed, obviously. This is my first time using Arrow Garden, but basically how it works is you have these little sort of holders or cages. You have this hole right here that you drop the seed right into, and it'll sit in the water, and this sponge actually soaks up the water and expands. It usually comes up to about like halfway up to the top of this area. And you set it in. Let me turn the light back on now. And you put the water in the tank, and mine is nice because it has a timer, so it can set for how many hours, and you can set what kind of things you're growing. So for herbs, it does a certain number of hours. For veggies, it'll do a different number. And then you can write on the labels too. So I tried, I think I didn't write down the first time what I was doing, so I think this might be oregano, or else it is parsley, although that doesn't look like parsley to me. This is dill, which I started about 3 weeks ago. And then I'm going to raise, the nice thing is this light can be raised as things grow. This is a cut of some dill plant I had left from my garden right before the first frost that I'd been keeping on a windowsill. But I thought, hey, why don't I put it in one of these and stick it in here? So I'll show you. I'm going to get down in here. Yeah, you can see the roots in there growing. Lift it up, you can kind of see the roots too growing out of it. So it sits down in the water like that. So I'm just growing herbs. I started some dwarf Greek basil. I put 2 seeds in there. Some cilantro. I had tried to start cilantro from seed using kind of my own jerry rig before I got the replacement. My own jerry rig of taping together something and sticking the seed in there. But the seed really didn't. The seed is rotting. It's not sprouting. So I'm trying a different seed from a different packet because I think the seed is outdated. I don't honestly think it's the fact that I did it that way that's the problem. And the reason I chose to grow these herbs in particular is because a lot of the other herbs that I want to use are perennial in my area. So thyme and rosemary is perennial in my area as well, which are the 2 other things I really love. All right, and then next let me show you the other vegetables I'm planning on growing using soil and grow lights. I'm going to be starting some lettuce and some micro and dwarf tomatoes. These little seed starting trays. I have a nice tray and I have a plastic dome to put over top for when I'm starting them. These are LED lights. These are actually shop lights. You pay a lot less if you buy shop lights instead of buying garden grow lights, as long as you make sure it has the right amount of lumens, I think is the right word. I don't know. I looked up online what it is. I'm not going to make recommendations on the lights yet until I get to know them better. But this is my setup. But let me show you. Okay, so I have Father's Frost micro tomato, which is a red cherry tomato. I got these from a seed swap last year. It's supposed to take about 60 days and not get more than 16 inches tall. So that'd be perfect for growing in something like this. I'm also trying the micro dwarf rosy finch, which is a pink cherry tomato, and the plants get only like 10 inches tall. And then I'm going to try the Pinocchio micro tomato, which is a yellow cherry tomato. It gets like 6 to 8 inches tall, so it's going to be tiny, and it takes 70 days to come to maturity. In addition to that, I'm going to be growing some baby greens. So I'm going to try growing, so this is a mesclun pack. I got a mesclun gourmet baby greens mixed seed pack that I got that I'm just going to start one tray on. And I expect to just pick the leaves throughout the winter and have some really great you know, salads or sandwich fillers. I don't know if I'd be able to grow enough for a full salad here with this small setup, but I definitely would be able to grow, I think, enough to have as a little topper or in a sandwich for a little crunch, things like that. I'm filling up these cells with potting mix, Ocean Forest. You can use seed starting mix. I find potting mix works just as well, and it continues to feed the plant after it gets its initial sprouting stage, so I find this just works better. You want the soil to be moist in advance because it helps make sure that the soil stays moist, which is part of the conditions that the seeds need in order to sprout. First up, let's do the lettuce mix. Now I've already pre-made my labels. Okay. And I'm just going to dry my hand off here. I'm just going to take a nice batch and I'm just going to sprinkle it around all of them and then put the soil over top. I may thin them and pot them up into bigger containers later on, but for now I'm just going to do it this way. That's why I got a big pack, because then I don't care if I'm not going to have to be stingy about seeds. Now I'll put some of that potting mix on top, just a little layer. Okay, now let's do the dwarf tomatoes and micro tomatoes. And I forgot I'd already filled one out, so. But I'm going to do Father's Frost, which is the back one corner here. You can tell they're micro tomatoes because look how tiny those seeds are. Tiny, tiny seeds. And I'm going to put them in. And let's put some, that's probably too deep. That's okay. All right. Now the Pinocchio. Whoops. There's one seed. I want to get at least one more. There we go. There's two seeds. Should be a little bit further in. And let's cover it up. All right, now for the rosy pink ones. Okay, that's 5. That's more than I need. And 2. I think I put 3 in that one. There we go. All right. I got the lid on, so that's good. So it's been a week since I recorded that last video, and we have sprouts. Let me take off the lid here. The mesclun or mixed lettuce greens have all sprouted. I don't think every variety is sprouted, but it looks like maybe 1 or 2 varieties sprouted. But these are the seed stage, seedling stage, so we're starting to see some initial true leaves come up here. I may end up breaking these up and putting them into more trays so that they have more room to grow. But we'll see. We'll see how they do. We'll take it step by step. And then for the tomatoes that I started, all of them except for the Father's Frost have sprouted. And I'll give the Father's Frost a little longer. And here's one of my community garden plot beds that is for my winter garden. So I have red Russian kale here on the end. We have purple acre or red acre cabbage. We also have some kohlrabi that I'm going to harvest today before I cover this with the frost cloth. Oh, that's going to be so good. I use this ag fabric floating row cover to cover my veggies. I don't actually know if it'll be enough. I haven't been back to the garden since we had those freezing nights. I used garden staples, which stick into the ground through the fabric, as well as rocks to hold it down. And you'll notice the shape is kind of weird, and that's because I also have some volunteer Mizuna mustard that's on the side of the bed that I decided to go ahead and cover as well, and hopefully it will have survived. That's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.